The new Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Last Straw movie is finally here. It's crazy to think it's been 4 years now since the original movie was released on Disney+. I still have nightmares about that, frankly. Then we got Roderick Rules 1 year later, where we got Rickrolled. And then finally, Wimpy Kid Christmas Cabin Fever was released because Disney wanted a Christmas movie. And honestly, that one was definitely the best so far, with a better story, funny moments, and characters. But then randomly, they didn't do one last year. I guess they wanted to end on a high note. But actually, we would get another one this year with The Last Straw. Or should I call it by its original name, Wimpy Kid Christmas The Last Straw. Gotta love how Disney has to make all of these Christmas movies now. I can't wait for Diary of a Wimpy Kid Dog Days Christmas, Wimpy Kid Wimpy Christmas, and my personal favorite, Diary of a Wimpy Kid Christmas Christmas. This is a Christmas movie, Christmas. But the best part of this all is apparently the next movie will be The Getaway that's also set during Christmas. Someone making these movies has an obsession. But with how decent the last movie was, I have high hopes for this. I never thought we would ever get a proper Last Straw movie, so this should be interesting. And yes, I'm a grown adult that has nothing better to do than watch Wimpy Kid movies. Let's check this out. The movie begins with the classic book style animation, which is always great to see. But what I'm excited about is that we'll finally see more of the dad. Greg and the dad's relationship was some of my favorite parts of the Last Straw book and the live action movies. However, since those were released, we hardly ever saw that again. But I'm glad to see we're gonna get more of that now. Also, I love the screaming for Greg. Puberty goes all over the place for this kid. But right from the start, we can see the dad and Greg don't exactly get along too well. The dad is ready to leave for church, but Greg is taking too long. Can't someone just honk the horn? Oh, there we go, never mind. Greg finally gets outside, but forgot his coat and doesn't know how to open a door to go back in and get it.
Stupid door!
He must be doing the Roderick method, where you act like you don't know what to do, so the dad just jumps in and takes over.
Use clean rags!
But after a pretty funny Home Alone reference, they finally arrive at church, but not without Greg pooping himself.
Look at Puppy's butt!
Just kidding, it's sadly chocolate. Okay. Also, this joke was pretty good.
This is the next Loaded Diaper album cover.
But if you've seen the movie or read the book, then you'll probably guess where this is going. Yep, we see Greg's pooped pants, but this time we don't get this classic line.
He's pooped his pants!
However, they did have someone pass out again, so that definitely makes up for it. Seriously though, this part makes me laugh every time I see it. It's just so over the top. We then see the dad playing with his toys
Figurines!
and realizes maybe he needs to be there more for Greg and teach him things.
What else haven't I taught him?
Not bad, but I definitely prefer how the live action movie did it, where it's basically the mom telling him to be what he wished he had growing up.
Be the father you wish your father had been.
That was always a favorite line of mine. However, Greg's learning new things on his own by starting a snow plowing business with Rowley that goes as good as you could possibly expect. But the main new thing we find out is Rowley is going to this camping trip and Greg is invited.
The Icy Pines camp out. You wanna come?
Possible foreshadow? But on the topic of explaining future plot points, we learn about Spag Union, a place for troubled boys, and the dad looks pretty interested in sending Greg there. Where's the petition? I'll send him there today. And in case you're wondering why Roderick can't go, well, he's already locked in.
My personality's locked in.
Roderick spitting straight facts. However, Greg suggests instead of Spag Union, he could go to the camp instead. I knew it, guys. I told you it was foreshadow. Wow, I'm smart. Here we learn about all the things Greg will have to do to get certain badges at this camp place, and we jump to them doing just that. So instead of them doing activities to get along, it's now because of this camping trip. Honestly, not the worst change. I like how there's a little more motivation now for them doing these activities. But of course, Greg has to mess it all up. You know what will fix this? If they brought back an old character we haven't seen in forever. Hey, look, it's Patty. I have to say, I am shocked to see her back, and is just as annoying as ever.
Patty for treasurer!
But you can always count on Greg to annoy her back. She wants people to vote for her, so this gives Greg his idea to put up posters going against her. That has him ending up in detention. Hey look, you can see Holly Hills right there. Do you think they're referencing the Holly Hills? Or it's just a huge coincidence? The world may never know. But Greg wants his dad to think he's a good student, so he buys these stickers saying he is, and the family eats it up.
This is unbelievable. What did you do to earn this, Greg?
The dad makes Greg do more activities, and they begin to fly through the camping badges to the point where they're really getting along, and Greg gets into safety patrol. That doesn't last very long.
You and your partner abandoned that principle.
I have to say, the changes this movie makes from the book is really good. Like I mentioned, I enjoy how there's a reason now for them trying to bond, other than dad wants to get along with son. And the elements they take from other books, like the safety patrol, all work well with the story. My biggest complaint in the past was the changes made felt like they were done to make the movie shorter, but nothing so far feels that way at all with this film. Frank then signs Greg up for soccer so he can have him compete with their neighbor's son. Oh yeah, I almost forgot this plot point. We see this family throughout the movie, and the dads are always trying to one-up each other. But who would have guessed Greg messes it all up? What's wrong with this kid? The ball goes in the net from Patty Farrell, causing them to lose the game. Hey, at least the dad seems happy, until he finds out how much of a failure his son is. How they reveal it in this movie reminds me of the scene in Dog Days where everyone starts calling Greg different names. It's basically that same scenario, but he finds out that Greg's been messing up a bunch. So because of that, the dad wastes no time sending him straight to Spag Union. Wow. Have fun, Greg. However, there's still one last chance for their relationship, and that's them going on this camping trip. I like how this one takes place during winter, since we already got summer before. It makes for some pretty cool visuals. Also, can we take a moment to appreciate this fart sound? Like, why was that added? Did the food fart? Or are they serving actual poop? Wait, Rally farted?
I tooted.
Yes, I'm a grown adult.
Anyway, we find out the neighbor is actually not too bad. Luckily for him, he doesn't have the same fate as the other guy in the Dog Days movie. And they end up liking him so much, they save his life when he almost drowns. His son is pretty much useless, so Greg has to step in there and do it himself. And because he does all that, Greg and the dad receive the hardest camping badge to get. And honestly, they deserve it. They're saving people's life, and they even help them get out of the woods when they get lost. I love to see it. Greg is finally doing some nice things. How wholesome. And he's so nice, in fact, the dad cancels Spag Union. Sadly.
We're not sending you to Spag Union.
I can't be the only one that wanted to see him go there. But they don't feel like sleeping in that tent, so they get a good night's rest in a motel. I'll just say it, the movies are definitely getting better. It was so disappointing when the original came out, or even its follow-up, because I thought this idea of making animated movies would be a great idea. You can always keep the characters the same age, and never have to worry about them growing up. But it felt like they were making those movies just to get them done, with very little passion. But something happened with Cabin Fever, and especially this one, where I can say I really enjoyed them. All the classic moments we've seen before were here, and any changes made mostly improved the story, instead of making it worse. Now, it can get a little over the top, but with most of the story focusing on the dad and Greg, it makes me like this movie more than the other ones. I don't know, I guess I have a soft spot for father-son stories. Now, it's definitely not the most in-detail best picture movie ever made, but I don't believe it's trying to be that. For big fans of this series, or if you grew up reading it, I'd recommend you give it a watch. If they have to keep taking a year off to improve these movies, then I am fine with that. Now, forget all that. Who's excited for Diary of a Wimpy Kid, the Super Christmas Getaway Christmas? I know I am.
Buy merch, link in the description.
Yes, I'm a grown adult.